Okay, first of all, good afternoon to the venerable ajahns and teachers and friends here today. My name is ngya. I'm from Maba. Okay, I'm very happy and thankful for the Buddhist Council to give me the chance to be here to share some Dharma thought with you all on the mindfulness, on the mindful living here. So Buddhist Council has been organizing Mindfulness Day for many years in a row, okay? So this means they really put in efforts to promote this mindful living and help to improve the qualities of life of the people. Okay, so first and also I would like to thank Dr. Konsat for his wonderful introductions about the mindfulness practice, okay? He touched on the techniques, the very important techniques, that is the 4 foundations of mindfulness and some important concepts or the theories in Buddhism. So based on his introductions, I would like to continue to touch on the mindful living, okay? So first, let's go back to the very basic one, okay? So I would like to start with remind everyone here, including myself, that Buddhism, if we call Buddhism a religion, then it is a religion of wisdom, okay? Why I say so? Because from the very beginning, and Dr. Konsat already touched on that as well, when the Buddha taught us, okay, when we go back to the Buddha first teaching, the Buddha told us that we have to avoid the extreme views, okay? There are many kinds of extreme views in the world. And those are the views that we have to avoid in order to what? To know the truth. What are the truth? In order to free from suffering, stresses, we need to know the causes. We need to know the ways how to avoid those and how to work on those, the wholesome way, the way that causes that leading to the liberations, okay, in order to reach the goal. So during this whole process, wisdom play a very important role here. We always say wisdom is the forerunner. Wisdom is like the eye that guides us to walk on this map, to walk on this journey. Okay? It's not just by believing in the Buddha. If we don't cultivate the insight, we don't practice ourselves, even you can bound here for countless time to the Buddha statue, it will not lead us to enlightenment. So wisdom based on self-enlightenment. Okay, so just like Dr. Konsat said, mindfulness with this wisdom is like the map. Okay, in order to walk the journey, we need the map in order to know where are the obstacles, where are the bumps, where are the holes that we need to avoid. Okay, so that we can reach the destination safely. So wisdom. And wisdom is not just a concept, it's not a philosophy. It's not just about mentality. It is to be realized in our life. So how can we apply this wisdom of emptiness or wisdom of no self or dependent co-arising in our daily life? First, we need to know what does it mean by interconnectedness. What is it? Dependent co-arising. Okay. So today, I would like to touch on this. How we can apply this wisdom in our life, okay, based on 4 dimensions in our life. I would like first begin with the body and mind, okay, and then the connections with individuals, and then in the communities, societies, and finally our humans, okay, with the environment. Dr. Konsat already spent very detailed introductions about the connections on the mind, the body and the mind. That is the content of the 4 foundations of mindfulness. So let's come and look at the body and the mind first. Without learning the Dharma, without learning and practicing the 4 foundations of mindfulness, many of us in the world thinking that this body is real, mind is real. So when we face sickness, aging, and death, not talking about death, talking about dying, the process of dying is very horrifying. Okay, we as a monastics, We always have people come to us. Why? Because they are so scared, so afraid after they're being diagnosed with cancer, after they're being, the doctor said, that, oh, you only have how many months, how many years left? They were frightened. Why? Body is so real. Nobody wants to lose this body. And the mind too. Why? I have so many things that I love, that I cannot give, that I cannot let go right now. So why? Because we don't understand, we don't know how this body and the mind, what is the truth of the body and the mind. Just now, Dr. Gonzalez touched on this. Body and mind actually is a series, is a continuous phenomena, is subject to rising and ceasing. It has its causes, okay? But I'm not going to go deep into this. But I would just let you know that if one day you truly accept and able to practice according to mindfulness, okay, you will see that this is wonderful to watch the continuous changes of this body and the mind. Okay, and there is nothing to be afraid of because the so-called fears, angers, feeling lost, all these are just part of the mental phenomena. It's not me, it's not I, okay? And next, we have to be aware that my mental actions give rise to speech, to body actions, and with consequences. That's why we said that we also taught about the law of karma. Every thought, speech, actions has its consequences. So we responsible for our own mind, mental actions, speech, and body actions. Okay? So we have to, through mindfulness, we're able to see that slowly we're able to observe the desires that arise. We're able to aware of our habits, how our habits affect us, how our habits affect other people living together with us. We're also actually able to see that our strengths, our weaknesses, okay? If with strength, we want to maximize it to benefit others, benefit our life. And for weaknesses, we try to minimize it, try to overcome it, because they are all subject to changes. Subject to changes means there are possibilities to improve, to change. We don't always be the same way. And we will also be a responsible person. Why? Because we see that it's not because of you, or that, then I become me. It's because we will see that before we say something, do something, the mind moves first. Desire arises first. Because our mind shaking, our mind trigger. So we take action because the mind moves. It's not because of external things. Through able to observe inner, we're able to see that how we actually truly the owners of our own actions. And because of this wisdom, we will be a responsible person, responsible to all our past, present, because present is the cause for the future. Okay, let's move on. Okay, if we're able to truly know the body and the mind, be responsible to ourselves, how we can apply to it in our daily interactions with people in general. Okay. Without practicing, our natural tendency when we contact with people is what? Judged by people's outlook, but how they wear, how they speak to us, okay? Just by their appearance and behaviors. But with wisdom, we're able to penetrate deeper and see that every beings, every sentient beings, humans, are composed of the 5 aggregates. Physical body, mentalities, and every beings have the desires for happiness, for well-beings, okay? Everybody fear of loss, fear of death. So this is the common ground that we share, okay? By knowing this wisdom, we are able to respect others despite their outlooks, despite their social status, whatever, okay? But also because everybody has come from a different upbringing background, conditions, and everybody has their own different habits, past experience, it makes everybody look unique, looks different. So nobody the same. Even in the same family, come from the same parents, siblings are different. Because every children, everybody, all of you, you have a very unique past experience that come with it. Okay, so by able to see some common grounds, the differences between individuals, then we were able to make, truthful observation. For example, if someone, say something bad, we will say that this is not nice speech, we will not say this is a bad person, because we see the speech, this speech is not pleasant, that's it. We will not say this is a bad person. Because if you say this is a good person, bad person, then you see this being as a fix. But actually it's not fixed, because mind keep changing, body keep changing. You can say that personalities, behaviors is nice, you can use this different description, describe the speech, describe behavior or tendency, whatever. But that is not a fixed I, it's not a fixed person. By doing this, by have this kind of new concept, then it's easy for us to make change and change others. If we fix one person like you are stubborn, then forever you have this label as stubborn, will not change. But according to what we learn from the Buddha, no, everything has changed. So everybody has the possibility to change, to be a better person. Believe in the Dharma. And we also have to be mindful of the reciprocal influence between people. Just like when we mindful of the contact, the moment we contact, we either influenced by other or we influence other. So people who are mindful, practicing mindfulness, one way that you can see is they have very stable emotions because they're mindful of their mind, mindful of the desire that arise. So we will not be easily influenced by external. In a non-Buddhist way of saying, they have a very high EQ, No matter what situations, we know it as it is, we handle it as what we can, and not to be shaken emotionally, This is one benefit that I can see that if we practice mindfulness. So, being mindful, another characteristic is be able to be empathetic, be able to be more considerate to others people, not judgmental, but more accepting, allows people to make mistakes because they have also opportunities to improve and learn from the mistakes too. So there is a lot that we can learn between the individuals' interactions, Next, and the Buddha also taught us that, have this observing the precepts. But what is precept? Precept is not rules. It's like the guide. It's about our conduct. It's to protect ourselves and others in order to live a compassionate life. Through guarding our actions and speech, we will not harm other people. We want to protect others, and also a good way to cultivate compassion. But nowadays, we communicate a lot, not directly, but why? Facial interactions or eye contact, all these also one way of communications. So all these also carry impacts. So we also have to be mindful of our body expression, eye expressions, facial expression. You say, I didn't say anything hurt him, but your eye looks very unfriendly. This is also one way of expressing ourselves. Be mindful. Nowadays, our modern life, a lot of indirect interactions, means through screens, online, not directly interact with people. And this creates a kind of illusion thinking that we are all independent. I can stay in my room and do my work, pay my bill, do my grocery, and without leaving the room, right? And thinking that, you see, I'm so independent. I have a separate life. I live in isolation. But are we really isolation by doing so? What if no power or no Wi-Fi? Can you still be isolated and in a peaceful way? Actually, we are much more dependent on others, living in a virtually. Okay, but we just don't lack of this kind of wisdom to observe it. Okay, move on. So from that, we move on to the next level is we have to be aware that we are in a network of interdependence, okay? A network of dependent co-arising. We live in families, communities, and societies. So we are, every one of us is part of the member, is part of the conditions in this relationship. Every relationship is part of this network. What are these relationships? Amongst family, in the workplace, among your neighborhood, whatever. So everybody, you have different circles in your life, okay? So when your relationship change, the role should be changed because conditions change, okay? So we also need to mindful of like the change of our roles, okay? In workplace, in family, and life stages. I give you one example, one case. There's a gentleman, he should be a senior executive from a company. He recently retired. So he is very smart and very efficient person, and also very son. He said that after he retired, he come back home because no more work. But he want to continue his responsibility in the company, at home. He asked the wife, you need to do this, do this, do this. And then he tell the maid, you need to write report every day what you have done at home. This create a lot of stress to the wife and to the maid, because even when before he's retired, they already know what to do every day at home. They know when to clean, when to cook. But now the retired husband come back home, still act like the CEO in the company. A lot of stress, right? Yeah. So if we do not know how to switch our role at different stages, at different places, not only we create stress to ourselves, but also create stress to others. So if we know where we stand, what are our responsibilities, and live according to conditions, mindful of our desires and thoughts, it will be much easier for ourselves and others. Do you believe in that? Yeah. Okay. So mindful living means proactively taking responsibilities. We know when to take responsibilities, and we see that we are not living alone. We are living together. Everybody contribute to this network, to a family. A family is not just run by the parents, okay? The children also counted. It's not, if a company also is only by one person, it will be a lot of stress. Just like this event, by many people, Dr. Concert, Venerable Kongsi, and the speakers, and so on. All together, we make this event successful. It's not one person work. The same in other places too. Okay. Now, so in short, the harmony and balance of our societies is really thrive on the sincere communications, mutual support, and compassion by everybody. Every one of us is like this balance, okay? Every one of us is like that 1 gram or 1 ounce. If you go to this side, okay, then the balance go this way. If you add to the other side, the other way. So the balance, the harmony depends on everybody. You are not like low, you are not like nothing. You're also not like super important. Everybody has their own unique responsibilities. Okay. Next dimension is about humans and environments. This is humans, okay? Human is part of the nature. We depend on the air, water, food from the nature, but we are not the master of the earth. I noticed that there are quite many people thinking that human is the owner, is the master of the world, okay? We can do whatever we want to the nature, but there is not. We are just part of the network. But humans' desires, ambitions is huge, okay? We can create a lot of great things, but if the desire is strong, we also will make a great destruction. So what we want to learn, Buddhism, the Buddha always taught, letting go, letting go. Letting go is not like letting go of everything. What we need to let go is our selfish exploitation, our selfish desires, letting go of the extreme views, unwholesome habits. But we also need to learn how to take up responsibility, how to live according to conditions, and how to observe the truth. Okay, that is what we need to learn and let go of those the selfish and unwholesome one. So we may not be those policy makers. Okay, we might not be like the leaders in any communities right now, but at least even a very ordinary person, if you think you are the very ordinary person, we still can play a role by living simple, consume less, be content with what we have, okay? Because value inside, if the mind is rich, we will demand less from external. Because we feel content, we will not keep looking from outside. And in this network of interconnectedness, we see that we are part of the nature. We respect, we treasure all these resources. We are not separate from it, and we will not exploit it and destroy it, okay? Because it's part of our life cycles. So, with that, I would like to say that a mindful person actually is also a wise, compassionate, and responsible person, because we will have the wisdom, okay? That is the insight to penetrate into the truth of the life in all aspects. By seeing the connection from inside, from the mind, body, and the connections with outside, how this body and mind connect with the external society and environments, okay? And just like a seed like half, they need to stay intact so that the seed can grow harmoniously and flourishly. If a seed had a hole in it, just like there is a broken net in this network, this seed will not grow. Okay? So we need to have the wisdom of non-self or dependent co-arising in such a way, deep inside our mind, body, and also extend it to the external world. So with that, I thank you for your attention. Okay? And before I end my speech, I would like to make this simple wish. May we all cultivate this mindful living together for the benefit of ourselves, our communities, and all beings. Okay? Thank you very much for your attention. If you have any questions or comments, we can talk and discuss later. Okay? Thank you.